Hey folks, thanks for watching another episode of At the Table with Evan Saint-Gerard. I'm your host, Evan Saint-Gerard. We have a special guest today, Angelo Gionis from Freedom Mortgage. Angelo, thank you for being on the
my pleasure.
program. Angelo, let's get into it. A lot of people are asking a lot of questions.
Sure.
What are the biggest challenges that a homeowner has right now to get a mortgage?
Well, that's really a great question. A lot of times for a home buyer, the issue is this is the first time they're buying a house. So they don't really understand the process thoroughly. There's a lot of different people along the way you're going to need for the process. So sometimes it's a little overwhelming and it's a little challenging for the buyer. At Freedom Mortgage, what we try to do is we try to sit down with the client, try to discuss the financial aspect of it to get them pre-qualified or pre-approved. So what that means is we'll sit down with the client, we'll review all their credit income information, we'll review their income documentation, and we'll really put a process together where they know exactly what they could qualify and what they're available for. That's step one.
Okay.
Step two then is obviously they have to find a great realtor like yourself and your company. Shameless plug.
Of course.
Then after that, they're going to have to find an attorney, a home inspector, a lot of different things, insurance and stuff like that. So a lot of times it's to meet the client's needs. And it's really a customer service business also. So at the end of the day, the most important thing is communication with the client. And what we try to do is answer every question they have. And when you're new into something, some questions are relevant, some questions might not be relevant, but really for the buyer, they're all relevant because they don't understand the process.
So you pretty much guide them through the whole process, what they need and stuff like that.
Exactly.
That's very key basically in helping people get to what they want to do.
Sure.
Let's get into what kind of mortgage programs are there available right now.
So if we met for the first time, what we would do is we would sit down and we would analyze your profile.
Okay.
So what that means is we would look at your credit score, we would look at how much money you guys make, and we would look at how much money you have for the down payment. Based off of that qualification, we could figure out exactly what you qualify for. And the best part about this is we have a lot of different loan programs to specialize for one buyer.
Okay, like what?
So the first one would be an FHA mortgage.
Okay.
And I'll just list them and then we'll go over them.
Sure.
There's an FHA mortgage, there's a Sony May mortgage, and there's a conventional mortgage.
What are the difference between
So the difference between those is really credit score and down payment. A lot of times clients say, I have 5% to put down, I don't have a lot of money, I have 50% to put down, and based on those criteria, we could figure out what's the best mortgage for them. So what we like to do is we always like to start with this first question. How much money do you have available to work with?
Okay.
And if they don't have a lot, that's fine. A lot of people think if they don't have 20%, they can't buy a home. That's not true. Interesting fact, 80% of all first-time home purchases do not put 20% down. Most of them put less. So it's really important to understand the programs available. So the FHA mortgage, you have to put 3.5% of the down payment.
Okay.
So if they're buying a house for, let's just say in the New York market, average price of a home is about what, $450?
It depends on the location in each area. So let's say the $450, $500.
Okay. So $450, $500. If they have around $15,000 to $18,000, that's enough for a down payment. Number one. Conventional programs right there. Normally they put down a little bit more, but that conventional program starts as little as 3%, and they could put up to 95%.
Okay.
But a lot of times conventional means that the credit score is very high. They have 20% to put down, and their profile is very clean. FHA is a little bit more liberal, meaning the credit score could be as low as 580.
Okay.
They could put as little as 3.5% down. And I don't want to get into too many technical terms, but the debt ratio is a little bit more flexible. So
Okay.
what that means is my income is hypothetically X. They'll give me a little bit more buying power with what I make with the FHA program.
All right.
And the best part about it is when I sit down with the client for the first time, we go over all the different options for them. And based on that, they choose the option that's best for them. It's my job to explain that,
Okay.
and it's for the client to determine which program or product's best for them.
All right. Well, you mentioned some of the down payments.
Yep.
What? How much money do they need to have to put down for down payment, closing costs, and stuff like that?
So traditionally, if you're a first-time home buyer and you're doing an FHA program, you would need 3.5% plus the closing cost.
And
On average, closing cost is about 4% of the loan amount.
Okay.
So if you're buying a home in Queens for $400,000, you're going to need about $16,000 for closing cost and 3.5% for down payment. So that would be an additional $13,000. So it's about $30,000.
Okay.
So the great part about that is we do have a lot of programs where we could give them down payment assistance and programs like that. I know you kind of have a follow-up question on that, so if you
Yeah.
want to ask that, let me
Well,
know.
you already jumped into it.
Yeah.
What down payment assistance programs are there available?
So here's the great thing. Once we figure out the criteria of the client and how much money they have, and if they didn't have the closing costs or necessarily the full down payment, we have a lot of down payment assistance programs available. What that does is that actually gives them money for the closing costs and for the down payment. So one of those programs, it's the Sony May program, and that stands for State of New York Mortgage Authority, actually allows them to put only 1% of their funds.
Okay.
The rest could be a down payment assistance, and we could give them up to $15,000 interest-free towards their closing costs or towards their down payment. So what that means is a client that has a great credit score, that has good income, but might not have that down payment, they could actually qualify and move into that home, which is very exciting. And we kind of go over all those numbers and everything else, which is great.
All right. Well, Angelo, that's a lot to take in right now.
Sure.
I'm sure our viewers have a lot of questions. If they have questions, how can they reach you?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I've been doing this for 22 years. Easiest way is go to my website. It's,
Which is?
Angelo Gionis at freedommortgage.com.
Okay.
My phone number is 516-902-3933. And one of the things I really like to try to do, especially for a new buyer, is meet the client in person. This is still a customer service business, so the most important thing is that initial meeting where we could go over and understand all your questions and all your objectives, and then we could figure out a strategy on how to buy. And Evans, sometimes I'm going to tell you you can't qualify today,
Okay.
but we have a program which is called Moving Towards Success program, where we kind of outline what needs to happen over the course of maybe 3 months, 6 months, or a year, and we could put you on a right path to really purchase a home, whether it's today or tomorrow, and that's really the most important
if you
thing.
can't do it now, you can save, get educated now, basically, later on in the future, you're ready
Absolutely,
to go.
you know,
All right.
and that's really the most important thing.
All right, give them your phone number one more time.
It's 516-902-3933, and that's Angelo Gionis, and AG stands for all good.
Oh, I can't top that one. You've been watching another episode of At the Table with Evan Saint-Gerard, special guest Angelo Gionis. Thank you. Tune in next time.